Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Buy Round podcast. I'm your host, James Graham. I'm joined for this episode by Charlie White.
James Graham, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing okay. I'm a bit overwhelmed and a bit stressed with this podcast that we're recording today. I've been hard at work, my crystal ball out, my future predictions. Very, very difficult list to put together, but one that I actually enjoyed the challenge of.
Yeah, well, the NRL officially starts today.
It does.
And what you're doing today is you are giving us your top 10 signings for the season. Now, this isn't, these are the top 10 signings. This is your predicted top 10 signings. So who you think is going to shine for their new club. I'm looking forward to this list. I'm very keen to see where it goes because it is a huge challenge. And there are some signings that sometimes you forget about that surprise you. There's always the big name ones like the Dylan Browns, the Leo Thompsons, but there's sometimes some sneaky ones.
There is, Charlie. And look, we're going to put ourselves in October of 2026. And this is the list that I think we'll look back at and go, yeah, they were a really good signing from a club.
Yeah.
They made the impact. It isn't a predicted... Well, it's not like, the best signings going into the year. It's the best signings at the end of the year. So who's going to have an impact on the season for their club? 10-1.
Yeah, I like it. I love how you said it overwhelmed you as well, because I actually have had a pretty overwhelming day this week where I had a few issues go wrong for me in the day. I received a new credit card and it looked identical to the old credit card. And I went and cut the new credit card up accidentally instead of the old credit card. And then I had to come here to do a podcast with the Montoyas after that. And I left the house. And then I realized I didn't have my keys on me. And obviously need the keys to get in here. But then I also couldn't access my car because I didn't have my car keys. So I was locked out. Had to go to where my fiance works at a retail store. And I got the Uber there. And then I started realizing, we're going the wrong way here. Looked at the Uber and I was sending it to the same retail store but in a different suburb. And then I still got here on time somehow, but it was an absolute economy of errors. There's one other part of that story as well.
Okay, go on, continue.
So I got home after getting the keys. I'm like, thank God, but I had to do a shit. Went on the toilet, did a shit.
No toilet roll?
No toilet roll.
Oh, brilliant.
I was like, this is the day of all days. Everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong.
Is that your way of saying, can you lend me some money? I've lost my credit card.
I've lost my credit card. I'm locked out of the house.
Locked out. Yeah,
I've got no toilet paper.
Mate, steal some here from the Buy Round studios.
You know,
there's toilet paper here that you can take home with you. Also, you're welcome to make a little bed in the corner in the new studio.
Yes. You put those two chairs together and actually would make you'd have to
nice little
rug
bed.
up a nice bed. Speaking of, I've stolen toilet paper before. When we were in Berlin, I had like no money. We were in Berlin, we were traveling. I was 19 years old, literally had no money, was eating Macca's twice a day. That's all I could afford, or $2 kebab twice a day. And we ran out of toilet paper in the Airbnb and we didn't have money to pay for new toilet paper. So we went to this Lebanese restaurant across the road and basically took turns stealing toilet paper rolls from the Lebanese restaurant. So there was 3 of us staying there. We managed to get 3 toilet paper rolls, which we were able to use over the last few days in Berlin.
That is absolutely play on from where I come from. My grandma and granddad's old house, rest in peace, they didn't have sauce bottles or salt shakers or they even packets of butter. They were taking. You went to a cafe with grandma, she was pocketing everything that was free: napkins, salt, pepper, tomato sauces, you name it. If it was sugars, she didn't have a sugar jar, just old sachets from wherever cafe she went to. Old, but it was not unused. It was go for your life. She was like, well, if it's free, it's free. Play on. What is the limit on the amount of sugars you can take?
There's probably no rule. It's just an ethical issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an ethical issue.
Not for my grandma, God rest her soul.
Am I right in saying that you used to steal coffee from St. Helens when you first started playing there? Or you used to take a jar and put coffee in the jar and take it with you?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I didn't drink coffee when I played for St. Helens.
That's a rumor that someone told me that's obviously a lie.
I only adopted coffee when I moved to sunny Sydney.
Okay.
So that's a complete and
utter lie.
fabrication. You've been stressed. I've been stressed. Where does Dylan Brown fit in? A few Smokies, Matt Lodge, Cade Dykes, who I think could have an amazing year. Atkinson, Lockie Ilias at the Titans. Is he going to feature? We've got people like Kobe Hetherington, Jack Hetherington, David Mawali, Jonah Pezzett, DCE, Dylan Brown, all these names, Jack DeBellin, Josh Kerr. Where do these fit in the top 10? So I've been hard at work doing that while you've been basically at the bye rounds expense, jaunting around Sydney, figuring your own personal stuff out. Yeah. You need to get your priorities right.
I didn't expense that to the bar, and I expensed that on myself. It was my problem. Okay. Brandon Smith will not be on this list as he was a last year signing, a mid-season switch. So if anyone was wondering why he is on the list, that's where
it's an uncontroversial omission.
Yeah. Who is at number 10, Jimmy?
Right, number 10. Newcastle Knights signing. Trey Mooney.
Oh, okay.
Trey
from
Mooney,
the Raiders.
From the Raiders, yes. I say this, a 4-year deal. So the Knights have obviously looked at him and said, he's one of our. He's got big things to come. You don't offer somebody like that 4 years unless you've got big plans and aspirations for that individual. I thought he was sensational in the All-Stars game, and I think what Newcastle, with Leo Thompson leaving, Saifiti leaving, Frizzell, like maybe 1 or 2 years to go. They're a bit light in the middle. Adam Elliott leaving as well. I think the reason I'm putting Trey Mooney in my list is I think that people will look back at the year and go, well, he was a really good signing for us. He added so much because he's going to get so much more game time and get so much more involvement, and he's really going to stick out, I think, for the Knights in the middle. Yeah. Probably a victim of circumstance at Canberra that they are, oversubscribed in that department. If Papali'i had have moved on, there's a spot for him there. They've got some excellent young forwards as well. So he's probably just can't quite squeeze in there. But I think at the Knights, given more responsibility, we'll see him get more game time, more involvement, more impact. And that's why he's in my top 10.
Pretty much every time we've spoken about the Knights this season, people have commented, oh, you guys need to talk more about Trey Mooney. Like, they love him. Hopefully has a great year. I'd love to see an award come in for the NRL where you, like a most improved player award, which it exists in a lot of other sports, like NBA, for example. I'd love to have a most improved player award, that like breakout star every year. Because if it is Trey Mooney, the Knights probably will be needing someone like that to step up.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, Charlie. I like that idea, the most improved. But if someone has a really rubbish year or a couple of years off, and then they come back and brain it, do they get?
Yeah,
can you be really good, really shit, and then really good, and you get most improved?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can look. Ask the NRL, Mister. I'm sure it's top of the list.
Yeah,
of
call
the
the buy round award though. Then if it comes in, call it the buy round award.
Yeah, I like it.
Number 9, Jimmy. Who have you got?
Number 9, we're going to the Dolphins. Morgan Knowles, former teammate of mine at St. Helens. I think him coming over, got to applaud him. He's in his late 20s, so he's arguably in like the peak of his career. I thought he was sensational for England with the amount of aggression that he brought against Australia in the recent Ashes series. He is as tough as they come. Like I say, that age, he's a real leader. Obviously, I think the Dolphins are going to hopefully be a bit more blessed in terms of the injury gods. But I think Morgan coming over, look, the coach knows him and knows exactly what that team needs. This isn't a feel-good signing. This isn't just, he's my mate, I'll bring him over. Christian Wolf identifies what the roster needs, another middle forward like him. He's gone out, he's got his man, and I think he'll do an amazing job at the Dolphins and bring so much aggression. Yeah,
their forward pack, Jimmy, now is so stacked. Like, the Dolphins literally have, so many players, like Max Plath, Gilbert, Saifiti. Like, it's up there with the best packs in the comp.
It is. It's just about staying healthy, and obviously led by this young number 7, Izzy Katoa. And I think what I like about the acquisition of Morgan Knowles is he's a natural ball playing 13. I think we see some middle forwards, they try and force it, or you can see at a certain stage in their career, they've spent some time with the coaching staff and developed it. James Fisher-Harris, during the All-Stars game, saw him in the 13 jersey, lots of short passes out the back. It was effective, but it didn't look as natural as Isaiah. It didn't look as natural as a Isaiah Yeo, a Jake Trborovic in his pomp, a Carrigan to an extent, a Murray. Those really crafty ball playing middles that it's second nature to. They've been doing it their whole lives. Where Morgan Knowles, he is that type of player as well. He's got great hands. He probably lost a few passes in that Ashes series that some fans may be concerned about and would highlight, but on his usual game, his execution is up there with the best. And I think it might bring another dimension to Izzy Katoa's game. We all know Nathan Cleary is the world's best halfback, but he receives a ball in multiple positions in order to be effective, and sometimes that's based on what the opposition want to do to him. Sometimes he gets the ball first receiver, sometimes it's second receiver, sometimes it's out the back of the shape of Isaiah Yeo. And I think what Katoa will have now is another genuine option on where to receive the football out the back of Morgan Knowles. So that's another string to the Dolphins' attack, and another reason why I think Morgan Knowles will be in the top 10 signings this year.
The Dolphins Bunnies game in round one is going to be so bloody good. That's actually sneakily going to be like one of the great games. That two matchup, it's obviously the Wayne Bennett Cup, Wayne Bennett v. Christian Wolf, all that stuff. But just those two teams, I think one of them probably is going to be very competitive this year. Whether or not there's room for both of them to jump into the 8 this year, we'll soon find out. But that first game is going to be a real good test for both clubs. It is.
Genuinely looking forward to seeing those teams start the season. Games like that, they get you excited no matter what. I want to see them play again though when they've got this sharp steel, when they've got their iron. Like round one, there's sometimes a bit of a different mentality. So much attacking prowess on display. So one to really look forward to. But yeah,
we'll be there, Jimmy, as well. We'll be there at that game.
We will be.
Dolphins Bunnies Sunday Arvo. Yeah,
heading on up to Queensland.
Will be an absolute.
Who needs
cracker.
Las Vegas?
No, exactly not. Well, we're going to Las Vegas as well, Jimmy. We're there now. I know we're not here now in the bar. We're in the Byron studio, but we've actually we're at that level now with the podcast that we just transported our entire studio. It's not pre-recorded. No chance.
And it's not AI.
No, exactly. Who's in number 8 then, Jimmy?
Number 8. This one may come as a bit of a surprise. Daly Cherry Evans.
Okay. Well, you think he'd be higher? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I've been thinking about this, and Daly Cherry Evans is such a big name, right? And he's been such a big game player. And I think and maybe I'm part of this, about the narrative of it's going to be either really good for the Roosters or it's just not going to work. Well, what happens if it's just okay? And okay is enough. Named in the trials, Sammy Walker at 7, DCE at 6. Maybe DCE needs that secondary role of not running the team. And maybe he's just going to be okay and good enough, and let Sammy Walker be great and run it. And that experience of all those big games that DCE has been a part of.
It's fascinating that, because DCE, obviously he's played 7 most of his career, but he plays a little bit like a 5'8". He's a bit like eyes up footy, ad lib, tries things, trick plays. He's very creative.
Yeah, he is very, very creative, and I think he spent his entire career at Manly. Sometimes a fresh start. Obviously, the faith in Coach Robinson and the decision makers at the Roosters to bring him, I think he'll feel indebted to them, to want to pay them back with levels of performances. He'll know that this is Sammy Walker's team. Like when they brought him over, look, we all spoke about it, but you know the Roosters are an intelligent organisation, and they would have foreseen this, and I think they would have said, like, look, you're coming over to not play second fiddle, but be the supporting act for Sam Walker. He's our halfback. Luke Keary was happy to stand down for him, an elder statesman. Can you do the same? They would have had an honest conversation, and maybe that will help DC settle into that role. He'll be highly motivated to not prove some people wrong about, like, is he too old? The last person born in the 80s to play on NRL. Like, what a title to have.
Great title.
So I think I was maybe at first putting, you think, oh, DC goes up the list because he's such an impactful player and he's played State of Origin, he's won premierships, or he's out of the list because it fails. So I've just got him at number 8. I think he can just do okay. Doesn't need to shoot the lights out. Doesn't need to win them the game. Doesn't need to, with a Luke Brooks next to him, like, run absolutely everything.
Yeah.
He can just chill.
It goes to show, obviously, a couple of years ago, there was the whole debate around Luke Keary, Sam Walker, who's in charge of the team. And Luke Keary came out and did a press conference where he said, this is Sam Walker's team.
Yeah.
And that was big for him to say as, like, one of the leaders of the club, a veteran, a 3-time premiership winner. I think putting DCE in the 6 is also a message to everyone that this is still Sam Walker's team. This is not DCE's team. DCE doesn't come in and he's in charge of this team. Sam Walker is the man in charge of this team.
Yeah, and look, I think as a player, he would obviously, like I said, know that, but he'd also recognise that this is probably his last chance. And for your last chance, if you're willing to do whatever it takes, maybe whatever it takes is just take a backward step.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let somebody else run the ship.
Yeah.
That's what sometimes, like, people often say that, do whatever it takes. And sometimes doing whatever it takes is standing back and letting others shine.
For all of Sam Walker's strengths, what do you think his greatest weakness is?
Probably long kicking game.
Exactly.
So this is where...
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's DCE comes in, brings in that big boot. And yes, Savala had a big boot last year and it was really effective for the Roosters, but DCE comes in with his kicking game. That's a whole new element and takes a lot of pressure off Sam Walker as well.
And also that we're going nowhere. Give me the football. I'm going to kick us out of trouble. Play 3, play 4, early kicks. DCE's made, like, not a career out of that, but it's been a strong feature of his game. The 40-20, completely turn momentum. We talk about the ability to turn momentum in this game. One of those is through a long kicking game. And like you say, they had it to an extent, but not at the same degree of DCE.
Yeah. Number 7 then, Jimmy?
Number 7, another Dolphins player, Selwyn Cobbo.
Ooh, I love it.
Yes. Looked at this and thought, well, Selwyn's going to get some game time. It appears as though the Dolphins are going to look to make him happy. And there's a number of studies now coming out from the sports science world about perceived happiness of an athlete in regards to their performance, which is more of a driver than, in A to B sports, VO2 max and things like that make a massive difference. But in team sports, the ability to perform is on perceived happiness of the athlete. I think, with Cobbo coming over from the Broncos, we know his skill. He just needed time on the field. And I like the move from Christian Wolf to give him a 1-year deal. Like, that motivates him. So in terms of, like, the impact of the signings as well, he's going to be given game time. So therefore, I think he'll be impactful. And he's going to have to be, because it's a pretty stacked backline there at the Dolphins.
It is. Like, for the trial this weekend, so obviously we're recording this before the final trial, you've got Trey Fuller at the back, Sarko and Cobbo on the wings, and Avarillo and Farnworth. Now, in all likelihood, Trey Fuller probably drops out and the hammer comes in.
Well,
I know there's some reports of that, but I don't know. Don't you think it's more likely that Hammer goes to fullback and Fuller drops out? I'm
on that train that, like, Fuller's on the extended bench each and every week now.
Yeah.
I think you'd have Avarillo in the centres and
And Farmworth.
Farmworth in the centres and then the hammer at the back. You'd just...
I think that is what happened. I know Ben Dobbin reported that they're considering the hammer at fullback. In the centres, but I think it's more likely that the hammer's at fullback. Personally.
Yeah, me too. Look, I know I've said this. Trey Fuller's too good not to play NRL, but unless it's Queensland, the hammer plays at fullback.
Yeah. Ben Dobbin does get good Dolphins mail, though. He's very close to club there, so could be right. But we'll see. We'll see when the teams come out on Tuesday. The Dolphins side will be coming out.
Bit of a glass coffin.
Remains to be seen.
It is.
Absolutely. Who's next on your list then, Jimmy?
This one, again, I picked this list before the trial teams were named.
Mm-hmm. The final trial teams named,
the final trial... I looked at the final trial teams, and I don't know if Coach Bellamy is just maybe toying with us, playing with us a little bit. Because he's named in like jersey 24 or 25 for Melbourne, but I really think he's going to be in. He is Project Bellamy style of player, and it's Jack Hetherington.
Wow.
In at number 6.
Wow.
Has there ever been a player that's played in the NRL that you get so excited about, and then for some strange reason, he's in the extended squad at some teams that I watch and go, he makes them better. But it confuses the life out of me that he's not getting a game for these teams. Newcastle Knights at one stage, how is he not in the 8 or 10?
Was it you who said that when you were playing and you saw that Jack Hetherington wasn't playing, you were relieved? He was like, "Oh, good, Jack's not."
No, I would say that if
Yeah.
I'm in an opposition pack and the team I'm playing or the squad names Jack Hetherington in the 19 and it gets cut to 17, I know it's going to be different this year. I'd be made up he's not in there. Made up, I'd be like, and I used to like playing against I'd prefer to play the Roosters with Jared than without him. For everything that I know he's going to make them better, but he's going to make me better. I know exactly what I'm going to get. But Jack Hetherington, he probably didn't have that level of experience playing against somebody like him, but he was aggressive. He could whack. He could hurt. So you look at him and go, he is a Project Bellamy player. Just look at some of the diamonds that just being in that environment have produced. And I think Coach Bellamy's never gone away from aggression as well. I don't think he's going to look to taper that too much. I think he's a great swap for Nelson Asafa-Solomona, a great swap. I was thinking about Moali. Does he have that? Because they were so keen to get him on that 1-year deal. I think that speaks volumes about potentially his impact. But I don't know. There's just something about Jack Hetherington that I've always liked. And I think being at the Storm, he could fulfill his potential. He might spend a few weeks on the sideline. That's a given. But I really like that acquisition.
You spoke about his aggression and Bellamy not being afraid of aggression. Do you think Hetherington's one of those players that you actually have to let him be his lunatic self, like a Mark Geyer? You were a bit of a lunatic sometimes on the field. Like these guys with this insane competitive edge, almost embrace that part of their personality because it's what makes Hetherington special. Yeah, he might do something stupid and punch someone and get sent for 10 in the minutes in the bin, but he also might put some amazing shots on and bring some fire and run the ball hard as well as part of that.
Yeah, well, he puts the opposition on notice, makes them aware of his presence. They know. He enters a field off the bench and it's straight away he's there. He's going to make an impact with his first carry. He's going to look to hurt somebody. And I think as well, we've seen him at some teams down the bottom end of the ladder, him really try hard. He's going to a top 4 team here. He's not going to have to try as hard to do all these things perceived to be by himself or on his own, or he's not going to have to look to come on and make a statement and try and turn the game around. He's just going to have. It's going to be a different role for Jack at this champion team in the Melbourne Storm. So I think the stars align for Hetherington going down there. the circumstance of them freeing some salary cap space up, them being a good team, I think it could really see and bring out the best of them.
What are we up to now? 5 or 6 are we here now?
He was number 6.
So we're up to 5. Who's at 5, Jimmy?
Ooh, coming up to number 5. It's from the Melbourne Storm going to Parramatta, Jonah Pezzett.
Okay.
So he's in at number 5 in my predicted list. For me, this was a huge signing. I think it speaks volumes, the fact that Melbourne wanted him for Para were willing to take him for a year. I think that tells us a bit of a story about how highly Coach Riles rates this youngster, and the impact that he can have on this team with Mitchell Moses. We know Moses will likely be in and around Origin. He's had a number of injury concerns and whatnot, and Pezzett might find himself playing in the 7 at different times, but he's a big game player when he's been given his opportunity. And I say that because of the finals performance that he put on against the Bulldogs, where he was man of the match last year. He's a person that's not afraid of the spotlight. I think I talked about DCE taking that supporting role. I think we'll see Pezzett take slightly more dominant role and look to take the pressure off Moses. It's a different set of circumstances that Parramatta have versus what the Roosters have, and with different personnel. I think Moses probably needs some pressure relieving, where Walker needs encouragement to run the team. So I think that it could have some teething problems. It may need ironing out at certain stages, and say, like, you're the second fiddle here. But I think it's a magnificent signing for Parramatta, and could just be the difference between playing finals or not. I'm still unsure on where we all sit on the ladder with that.
It's really interesting with Parramatta and the fact that last year, basically, they didn't play Dylan Brown because they were planning for the future.
Yeah.
But now they're bringing in Pezzett for a year, and seemingly not planning for the future, seemingly stunting the growth of someone like Joash Papali.
Yeah.
But it goes to show how high they think of him, as you just said. Like, that's a huge call.
So they've gone against their principles of last year. Like, we're building for the future, but we're going to take someone on a 1-year deal that's already signed to go somewhere else.
And Jason Riles was at Melbourne when he was there at Melbourne, so he knows him as well as anyone else would know him.
I think what else will help Jonah Pezzett is, look, in his Melbourne career, every single time he's trained or he's played, he's had to be like, look at me, coach. Look what I can do. Hey, just give me the chance, coach. I'm ready. I can do it. Like, he's been that guy, and he was that guy in the final series when he stepped in at number 7 in the absence of Jerome Hughes. He had to prove to the world that I belong in the NRL. That game did him so much, but every single session, coach, look at me. Coach, look at me. Every chance he got, coach, look at me. He doesn't have that. He's got, for the first time in his for the first time in his career, it's got a pathway to the 7 jersey or to first grade football without if, buts, maybes, and a domino effect. He doesn't need Jerome or Munster to be injured or one of those two to decide that their future lies elsewhere. He's going, well, Parramatta want me. He's feeling the love. I don't need to prove myself. And I know that my future is secure at Brisbane from 2027 and beyond.
I think he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder as well, because I interviewed him. You remember that game, Broncos Storm, where everyone did their hamstring for the Broncos?
Yeah.
I interviewed Jonah Pezzett after the game, and talking to him, like, there was a bit of like a chip on his shoulder. Like, you could sort of tell he was a bit, like, I asked him a question like, oh, you came on after 20 minutes. Was that always the plan? He sort of like, you got the feeling that he was almost offended by that question of like, oh, I got off after 20 minutes. Like, he thinks he's like a first grader through and through, starting elite halfback in the game. Like, there was a bit of aggression to him in terms of like, I feel like I'm at this level. Like like the question, because it was exciting for him. It's like, oh, you're coming on 20 minutes, but he almost was insulted by that. It's like he's not excited about coming off the bench. He's like, no, I'm a superstar of the game, basically.
I think I get that sense when I watch him as well. He looks and feels like a starring halfback, and I think he practices that way too. We were down at that semi-final, and we had the opportunity to watch the Melbourne Storm players arrive at the stadium, and he was first on the ground, bare feet, getting to know the stadium. Then it was the boots on, the extra kicking. This is all on game day. The level of preparation that this lad puts into his game, it's the same as all the elite halfbacks, and it's the same for most. But this is what's separate. This was what was really noticeable on that particular day.
And he was a difference maker in that game. His kicking game saved
man
Storm.
of the match, mate.
He was man of the match. 100% he won them the game. Like, so for the Eels to get him in is huge. Like, I think Moses and Pezza, that's the best kicking duo in the comp now, in halves terms, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting one. I spoke about being a bit of a foil to Moses and another genuine option.
Yeah.
You just hope that they don't get in each other's way, or that Moses is okay to let Jonah take over some of that kicking. That's going to be the big test. Is if there's 40 kicks a game in other years when Moses is fit, I imagine he would have taken at least 80%.
Yeah.
Is that ratio going to change?
Potentially.
Like, does it need to? Does he want it to? Is he happy to? That could be an interesting interesting situation to observe.
Yeah. The only sort of one that might be as good as Jonah and Mitch is probably Sam Walker and DCE. Sam Walker for his short kicking game, and then DCE's got his long kick game. They're like very different styles of kickers.
Complement each other
really well, whereas Pezzett and Moses have similar kicking games, it seems, anyway. Number 4 then, Jimmy, who have you got?
Number 4 is ex-Bulldog Reed Marnie.
Reed Marnie to the Cowboys. I love it.
Reed to the Cowboys. I like I said this before, I've always liked and admired Reed. He came to the Bulldogs at a time when it was very unfashionable. He captained the club. I thought he helped them compete in games that they really shouldn't have been competing in with his aggressive manner. And look, I need. It was hard for him last year because I believe he wanted to stay, and he wanted to be part of something that he would have felt he was a part of building, but it wasn't to be, and the club have gone in a different direction. But what you can't take away is Reed's ability, his passion for football, and I think now for Reed, he puts it behind him, and he's got drive he's got the ambition of somewhere that he wants to be at, and that they'll learn to love him. They'll fall in love with Reed Marnie if he plays his best. And I think even looking back, I think he was under instruction to pull back the what some would call the silly stuff or the niggly stuff. I think he's going to be encouraged with that. Like, you think of that aggression that he brings in the defence for a small guy. If there's one thing the Cowboys need, it's some help with their defence. He's going to bring that, and I think whether or not the Cowboys make the finals, I think they'll look at Reed Marnie's impact as being a successful one.
Yeah, he brings that mongrel for them as well. Like, there's a lot of guys up there in North Queensland who there's not many mongrel style of players. Like, there's a lot of like really talented, extremely skillful players, but like Reece Robson, even like amazing defender, amazing passer, but not like not much aggression to him, is there? Like,
not the same as Reed.
Tom Dearden's probably their most like aggressive competitive player. So Reed's going to bring something a bit different there,
and most definitely the drive and determination to prove everybody wrong and say this is what you missed. And I think he's one of those players that you look at and go, he just needed a change.
Yeah,
and also the media's the media's commentary in and around. If he plays well, people are going to talk him up even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Because again, there's going to be that. Well, the Bulldogs are wrong. People love to hate on the dogs.
Yeah, of course they do.
You included.
Well, in fact, it's because
if Reed Marnie plays well, how much are you going to enjoy next year chipping me about how they shouldn't have let him go.
Well, mate, it was a mistake. I reckon it was a huge mistake letting Reid Marnie go. It's no surprise Parramatta Eels were in the grand final when Reid Marnie was there. Then he goes to the Bulldogs, take a team that was dreadful, absolutely dreadful for years and years and years. Then they work their way up. I think it was a huge loss, Reid Marnie, for the Bulldogs. I think it can't be understated, like how much of a loss he is. And Bailey Hayward is not the same player as Reid Marnie or anywhere close to it. That's why it made no sense, the whole reshuffle. Changed it. You know, it's like, oh, we're not going to change everything for one player.
All right,
well,
we've been over
you
this.
Did change
so we'll
everything
see what this year brings. And
yeah.
I genuinely wish Reid Marnie all the best.
Same. I think if the Cowboys, well, we'll see them later today, but if they're going to have a good year or a bounce back year, maybe he's someone that can really help them. Number 3. Number three, mate. Top three.
We're into the top 3. He's going to be missing for the first 10 weeks.
That's why you've set up the Dogs chat, because you've got a bloke who's missing half the season almost is your top 3 signing.
Well, no, he's going to miss 10 weeks.
10 weeks, which is basically half. It was a third of the season. A third of the season. But if you guys make finals.
So they go... There's 2 weeks out till Vegas, so that is injury. So there's 2. The week of Vegas is 3. Then they've got that week off. Then the bye. So there's 5 weeks, 1 game.
No. You can't.
You see how I've done that math there?
I think he'll miss 7 games of footy. You only play 24. Which is
no, he won't
basically
miss 7 games. He'll miss 1, 2, 3, 4. I reckon he'll miss 4
more
games.
than 4 games. He's out for 10 weeks.
Yeah, but round 1 is split.
I know.
We're still,
over 2 weeks. Yeah, that's
when
fine.
he first got injured.
Then you got to buy.
But they're talking about he'll miss 10 weeks. You got to go back before the All-Stars game.
Yeah, I know.
It's a 10-week injury.
Yeah.
I reckon he'll be back playing in round 6 or 7.
All right, so a 110-kilogram power athlete coming off a calf injury. For a 10-week calf injury, so as bad as it gets as far as calf strains go.
Oh, here we go.
He's gonna be a top 3 signing. You think?
Yeah, I do. I think the impact is what the club needed. This bigger body. It might take some time.
Yeah,
especially with this unfortunate injured start to the season. But I genuinely think Leo Thompson is what they've been missing, or a player like that. He's not going to be the type of player that, you know, a front row that's running for 200 metres a game. He doesn't need to be that. It's a defence-based middle and intimidation-based middle.
Yeah.
I think when I look at the Dogs and their losses last year against teams like Penrith, teams like Melbourne, Brisbane, the bigger packs got the better of them. It's on him. Not single-handedly, but he's got to be the leader of that. And I think fine margins in a number of those games, and he could be a massive difference. And it won't tell on the stat sheet. It'll be one of those that you see and that you feel. And I also believe that he'll help bring improvements to the game of people like Max King, of Tupanua, of Josh Curran. I really do think he'll help improve those lads by being in and around the start and in and around the middle on a consistent basis.
I'm actually really worried about him given with this injury, and also the pressure that's going to get put on him to come out and I feel almost sorry for him because he's had a tough year at Newcastle last year. He's then come to the Bulldogs on a huge salary, expected to be their leader. And now he's had this really serious injury. But, hang
on. Whoa. It's not the way you're talking about it. Really serious.
You know that calf injuries are difficult to manage.
It's not an ACL. It's not a shoulder dislocation. Like in terms of like the seriousness of it, and also you know that people put GST on these things. You know that we've got to take it with a pinch of salt.
It's great. It's a grade 3 calf tear.
Grade 3 calf tear. Dr. White. Serious injury, it's like there's Dr. White and Dr. Gould are working in the same practice here. Oh, everything's a super serious. Mate, if you're buying Gus Gould's comments of 10 weeks, like I want a second opinion, Dr. Gus.
Well,
I want a second.
Who was the player
opinion.
last year? He ruled them out for the season, and they were back 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
Someone, I can't remember who it was. No, I am worried about him though, and I feel bad for him because it's
don't worry, mate. You don't need to worry. It's not an effective strategy.
Okay.
Worrying about things doesn't help.
Here's my prediction then.
Okay,
and you can hammer me as much as you want in the comments about it, Bulldogs fans, and you can hammer me as well. The 10-week injury. So he's come down, a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure, big pay packet, big club, expecting results. He's had a tough year. Now he's done his calf, 10-week injury. Let's see if it is a 10-week injury. Who knows? A grade 3 calf tear. There's going to be pressure on him to perform, and I think it's going to be really hard for him to reach his peak level coming off that injury. And I think he might struggle for his first few weeks coming back from that injury. And then I think the knives will come out and he'll probably cop a lot of unfair criticism. But people need to understand he's coming back from a serious injury and you've got to be patient with him.
Very serious.
And I don't think he'll be a top 3 signing as a result because he's not going to have enough time to sort of establish himself.
I've got him in my top 3. Okay. And you know what? The only way I'm going to see Dr. Gould or Dr. White for a medical opinion is if I need signing off from work and I'm trying to rort the government, because it seems like you and Gus Gould would be happy to put a calf injury as 10 weeks.
Well,
You're buying, what Gus Gould MD?
Yeah. I will admit he's put salt and pepper on injuries in the past.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would do that, though. I don't know why he bothers doing that.
Because it's just a game. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a game, bit of fun. Don't know. Maybe that's what he's heard.
How annoying for the player. I'm not out for 10 weeks.
Maybe he's mistyped it.
Yeah. Well, is it 1 week? He's back.
Yeah. Who put that 0 on my ex?
Oh, jeez.
No, you can't trust Dr. Gould. You can't trust Dr. White.
I'm worried about him. I am worried about him with that injury.
I honestly, I say this to so many people, but don't worry, because it's not going to. No one has ever gone, oh, you know what? I wish I worried more about that. Don't worry about things. As Bob Marley said.
Well, what if you have a growth on your knee and you just, I didn't worry about it. 2 months later, you find it's pretty bad cancer.
No, don't worry.
Should have worried about that.
Don't worry about it.
Should have worried about it.
Go and see a doctor.
Yeah.
Go and see a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't go to the doctor unless you're worried about it.
Concerned.
Checkmate.
Okay, you go, exactly. You know what? You're right. You go and see a doctor. You don't go and see you or Gus Gould.
No. Your top 2 signings, Jimmy.
Number 2 is David Fafita for South Sydney Rabbitohs. The Wayne Bennett effect. I think you forget this lad is only 25, and what a story, what a career it's been since he catapulted onto the scene in the NRL as like an 18-year-old, barnstorming. Not that long ago, signed for the Roosters. That backflip, whatever reason, didn't work out. But we've seen David Fafita at his absolute best is borderline unplayable. It is not fair. It is Jonah Lomu rugby on the old PlayStation 2. It is not fair sometimes when oppositions go up. Opposition halfbacks, specifically on David Fafita, good luck. You've got Latrell Mitchell over on that side. How you plan and prepare for that, because you've got to gang tackle David and you've got to gang tackle Latrell. You need multiple players in that collision. You can't do that to both. So I think he's come down. The stresses of being on the Titans have gone. The speculation around his future. Again, I mentioned before about the perceived happiness in terms of performance. For whatever reason, David has some distraction. Also injured.
He's had a lot of injuries for his ankle.
We
and
forget
calf.
that he's had a horror run with injuries. Nothing to worry about, though. Probably should have gone and seen Dr. Gould or Dr. White. They would have ruled him out for even longer. But I just think he's primed for like a huge year. Even if he only, you hope that he can sort that, the injury proneness out. And I just think this could be so scary for right-hand side halfbacks that defend up and against him. He could be, I think he will, be one of the best signings of the year.
Yeah, and the amazing part is the Bunnies aren't even paying his whole contract. The Titans are paying a large chunk of it as well. Just amazing for them. If they can get him going, like I remember David Fafita at the Broncos when he first came in, the tries he was scoring, It's like nothing you've ever seen
Unstoppable.
as a back rower, running like 80 metres, fending off 6-7 players. Like, did you play against him?
Don't think so.
No, okay, yeah.
Mate, you think about South's close to the line, that left edge.
Mate.
Like Latrell's prime for like little short balls
Yeah.
over the line, like just barge over tries. Like
Yeah.
it's not. They don't have to be pretty.
No, mate, it's Cody Walker, one of the most creative players over the last 10 years. Dave Fafita, one of the best ball running back rowers of the game in the last 10 years. Latrell Mitchell at centre, when he was playing centre, one of the best centres we've ever seen in the NRL. And then you got the leading try scorer of all time, Alex Johnston, on the wing.
Nearly.
Yeah, he will be very quickly.
Yeah,
could take one game.
Yeah.
Just down there. He won't get tackled. It'll all be
Me
inside.
Nan could probably play on the wing
Yeah,
and
exactly.
do it for him. But
Exactly.
no, I'm feeling very optimistic about David Fafita under Wayne Bennett at South in that environment. Hopefully injury free. Yeah, it could be. Well, not like I say, it'll be scary. I think he's one of those players that you look at as well. Like, you know, the Titans have been down near the bottom, a lot of pressure on him because of that pay packet and because of where the Titans were at. I think he comes down like, you know, you don't like to include the fee, but you know, it just is.
Very bullish on the Rabbitohs this season. You know, you talked about Dave Fafita and nearly signed with the Roosters. What a sliding doors moment that might be in terms of the history between the Bunnies and the Roosters. Because if Dave Fafita did sign with the Roosters and stay, at the time everyone was like, oh, they got lucky. Angus Crichton, like it ended up working out perfectly for the Roosters because Angus Crichton got back to his best and Fafita would have pushed Angus Crichton out of the club. But now that Fafita has helped lure Payne Haas to the Bunnies, you're like, what a sliding doors moment. The Roosters could have had Dave Fafita and Payne Haas, and they ended up with none of them.
Charlie White, I see where you're going with this, my friend. That is, quite the theory. And look, some people maybe they're not fans of David Fafita, but look, the Roosters signed him because they wanted him because they saw something there.
Yeah,
Penrith wanted them.
Exactly.
Penrith wanted them.
Yeah,
like they don't muck around at the foot of the mountains in terms of their signings. Like they very seldom go out of what they produce. Yeah. They were willing to make exceptions for him. We spoke to Matt Cameron in depth about just how meticulous they are with their salary cap, with their balance of the roster, their squad, the criteria to play football each and every week for that team. They were willing to bring him into that system.
Yeah. I think it goes to show that, like Dave Fafita, they should at Redfern Oval, they've got that little stand there. Name that the Dave Fafita stand already. He's already paid off his salary. He's already done everything he needs to do for the club. What do bloody executives get paid? Millions sometimes, $800,000. He's better than all of those executives if he's come in there and managed to convince Payne Haas to come down, which we all think he has, and they're very close friends. So, you know, he's going to be a Bunnies fan favourite immediately.
Yeah, I think he can make an immediate impact. That impact style player can win games by himself.
Yeah, even if he does nothing on the field for the Bunnies, they'll love him forever.
I don't know about that.
Who's number one then, Jimmy?
Yeah, number one, as I'm probably sure you're aware, there's a fair few players that haven't made the list.
Well, do you want to go through your honourable mentions then before you do number one?
Yeah, Matt Lodge in there didn't make the list.
Yeah.
I think
he's still got something to give?
Yeah, I do. I think he's highly motivated. Could struggle for game time because Lars, I think he's about to explode. Like really like what he's all about. Con Pereira going over to the Warriors. I like that. An absolute speed demon. Sandon Smith at the Knights. Jamal Fogarty at Manly. Kai Pearce-Paul. He doesn't make the list. I think that's because he already brings a lot. Sorry, I think that the Tigers have enough of that. I think he's going to be good, but it's going to be hard for him to really stand out. Daniel Atkinson doesn't make the list.
That's a glass coffin, though.
There's a lot of question marks there, like whether or not that can work.
See today,
for him.
the first test of NRL.
Yeah, Lachlan Ilias, like I said, you forget he's gone to the Titans, and obviously with the makeup of their spine,
he might not get in though because Campbell and Brimson are going to get first crack.
They are going to get first crack.
Yeah,
but it's important you mentioned.
You know the other one, is it Zane Harrison, the young kid who played in the first trial? He looked good as well. He's that traditional halfback as well. If they decide to go down that angle,
Kobe Hetherington, who was phenomenal for Brisbane Broncos down at Manly. Maybe that's a sign of where Manly could be at. Be different going from the bench impact at Brisbane to starting at Manly.
Who could end up on this list after a couple of weeks of the season is Zach Lomax if he gets over the Melbourne Storm.
Well, how do you know he's not number one?
Well, it hasn't happened yet, so it can't be. It's about the official signings that have happened, so it can't be there, can it?
All right, well, I'll have to change this then.
Was Jack DeBellin an honourable mention?
I was just about to get it. David Moali at Melbourne Storm, Jack DeBellin, Josh Kerr, and then...
You forget that Josh Kerr's gone to the Dragons.
Yeah.
You forget that, yeah.
Yeah, he goes back to the Dragons. I just don't know whether he might not be outshone by a number of their younger forwards. And then final mention for the honourable list is Dylan Brown.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Dylan Brown's not in your top 10.
Not in the top 10.
Wow. No. Wow.
No.
That's big.
And it's nothing against Dylan Brown.
Yeah.
I just think the Knights could be in for a pretty tough year.
Okay. Wow, that's big.
I think it's no fault of Dylan's of why he's being paid the money. I think he's gone to a club that are still a fair few years away. And look, that's just my prediction.
Yeah.
I don't think Newcastle will go well.
Yeah.
And he will likely be the fall guy.
Yeah. The Dylan Brown money is interesting. So he's on 1.3 million, and that's why I think the the PNG Chiefs are going to have not much difficulty signing players. So Dylan Brown's going to be paying $550,000 of tax this year. So imagine that. If you're a $750,000 player right now, you're on the same pay packet as Dylan Brown at 1.3 million. If you think the PNG team is going to have difficulty signing players, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah.
Like they can stack their team full of like think about that. If you're a $750,000 player and you're playing for PNG, you're the highest paid player in the game basically because you don't have to pay any money to the tax man. So they're going to get players easy. Or women. If you're on a $1.3 million deal at PNG, well, you're getting paid $550,000 more than a player on 1.3 at a Sydney, Brisbane, New Zealand club. That is massive, massive money. You do that for a few years, you're set for life.
You are.
You put it in a high index fund.
Oh, Charlie, now we're talking. Hey, Vanguard, hello.
Vanguard ETF.
Yeah.
You take your 10% every year, you never look at it. All of a sudden you're 60, you've got $15 million there.
Financial advice with Charlie White. You're a doctor, you're a financial advisor. What else have you got for us, Charlie? But no, Dylan Brown, nothing against him. I think he's a fantastic player. He proved that with New Zealand. I just think the Knights are in for a bit of a tough year, unfortunately for him and the new coach and some other signings that they've got in Sand and Smith. Like all of them individually, it's nothing personal. It's just I think they'll struggle, and I think ultimately it's on the halves and the spine players, and with the price packet that comes, I think life could be difficult, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I hope it works out for him. He seems a lovely guy, Dylan Brown, so fingers crossed it goes well for him. We'll see today. First test over in Vegas. All right then, Jimmy, who is your best signing for 2026?
My prediction for this, bit of the forgotten man. Now, I know what you're going to say. Two of my top three have big injuries.
Reece Robson.
It is. It is Reece Robson. Spoken about a hand injury, 6 to 8 weeks. This was sustained maybe 2 to 3 weeks before the season starts. And then I think the Roosters have a bye round 3 or round 4. So I don't think he's going to miss that much football. Injuries are part of the game. But I think Reece, coming to the Roosters, it was done around about this time last year before a ball was even kicked. They earmarked him. I think the Roosters, they were 8th last year. I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see that improve, and I think he'll be a key part of that. And I say that because I think the way the Roosters are going to play, it's going to be 2 dummy halves. I was a bit perplexed about where does Connor Watson fit into the equation, because for me he would be the 9 to replace Brandon Smith. If they were going to allow Brandon to leave, then the answer was there. But I think looking at it, they go, oh no, we're going to we're going to start Reece. He's an 80-minute hooker. And then after 20, 25 minutes, whoever's in that lock position, Connor Watson will come on and they'll play two dummy halves and look to really flood that middle. They've got a very, very strong middle as well. And I think we'll look to see them just pile through.
One of the reasons why Cheese didn't work out at the Roosters, in my opinion, is because he's not really a Trent Robinson-style hooker. If you look at the teams that the Trent Robinson's had, he likes a hooker who makes his tackles, gives simple ball, and doesn't try to do anything too crazy. You know, and Reece Robson's that player. He's not got all the tricks and the flair and the magical plays, but he's that gritty, efficient dummy half who makes the right play most of the time.
Yeah, well, I think, look at Brandon's game. That was jumping out of dummy half and penetrating through the middle.
And it's an incredible
style. A strong running game. So if that didn't work out, I don't think they've scrapped that plan to bombard the middle and stay at players. But they're just going to go about it a different way. They're going to have that softening up period with a Nafahu White, Victor Radley, like Robson off the deck, maybe kicking early. But then after the game opens up and a little bit of fatigue sets in and the game speeds, well, that's when Connor Watson comes on alongside Reece Robson to have 2 runs of dummy half. Or if there is a quick play the ball, Robson is moved out of the way and Watson just gets in and goes. I think that's how we'll see the Roosters look to play that way. I think it's been in the back of Coach Robinson's mind, or in the forefront rather of Coach Robinson's mind, that we need to play around the middle. Think about Tedesco, how much in and around the ruck running he does rather than turning up out wide. I think it's clear for me how the Roosters want to play the game, how they see them being able to get over the top of opposition. And Reece Robson as well. I say a bit of forgotten man, the attention on DCE, and he's been maybe a bit unfairly, maybe not, but people are predicting origin sides, and it's Blake Brayley from the Sharks. Like, he's not going to like that.
Yeah,
like he's going to be looking at that and thinking, well, hang on a minute.
Yeah,
it's my jersey. I think he'd be highly motivated. He's and fit as anything. I got the opportunity to see Reece as he was coming through at the Dragons. Terrific person, and for me, no surprise why he found his way into New South Wales. And despite this hand injury to start the year, he's my number one.
That's all we have time for then, isn't it? First days of rugby league now. If you're watching this in the morning, if you listen to this in the morning,
it's time
get ready, baby.
Excited. Las Vegas, 2 games for round 1, a game of Super League as well. Oh, the football is finally back. I get my fix.